An extract from What Katie Did Next by Susan M. Coolidge. Dr. Carr's objections, his reluctance to part with her, melted before the radiance of her satisfaction. He had no idea that Katie would care so much about it. After all, it was a great chance, perhaps the only one of the sort that she would ever have. Mrs. Ashe could well afford to give Katie this treat, he knew. And it was quite true what she said, that it was a favor to her as well as to Katie. Katie's second thoughts were more sober ones. How Papa would manage without her for a whole year, she asked herself. A host of housewifely cares began to troop through Katie's mind, and there was a worried look across her face which had been so bright a few moments before. She is only 21, Dr. Carr reflected, hardly out of childhood. I don't want her to settle into an anxious, drudging state and lose her youth with caring for us all. She shall go, though how we are to manage without her, I don't see. Little Clover came gallantly to the fore when the first shock of surprise was over, and she had relieved her mind with one long private cry over having to do without Katie for a year. Don't worry about us, we shall get on happily and easily. So, Katie darling, cast that shadow from your brow and look as a girl ought to look who's going to Europe. Night after night, she and Papa and the children pored over maps and made out schemes for travel and sightseeing, every one of which was likely to be discarded as soon as the real journey began. But they didn't know that, and it made no difference. From Cousin Helen came a delightful travelling bag, light and strong at once, and fitted up with all manner of nice little conveniences. Miss Inches sent a history of Europe in 5 fat volumes, which was so heavy that it had to be left at home. In fact, a good many of Katie's presents had to be left at home. Clover's gift was a set of blank books for notes, journals, etc. A week before the start, her father gave her 3 little thin strips of paper, which he told her were circular notes and worth $1,000 apiece. He also gave her 5 English sovereigns. Those are for immediate use, he said. Put the notes away carefully and don't lose them. You had better have them cashed one at a time as you require them. Mrs. Ashe will explain how. But Papa, protested Katie, opening wide her candid eyes, I didn't expect you to give me any money, and I'm afraid you're giving me too much. Do you think you can afford it? Really and truly, I don't want to buy things. I shall see everything, you know, and that's enough. Her father only laughed. $300 won't go far, as you'll find. But it's all I can spare, and I trust you to keep within it and not come home with any long bills for me to pay. Papa, I should think not, cried Katie with unsophisticated horror.